Now, Ukrainian IT experts who are living abroad are using crowdsourcing technology to help plot safe routes out of conflict zones in Ukraine. They're using the same technology to connect those civilians with volunteer drivers who are transporting busloads of people to bordering countries. Mark Zerslak reports.
This bus is filled with Ukrainian women and children fleeing the horrors of war at home, heading towards safety in another country. It's a journey that's been made possible by dozens of volunteers thousands of miles away.
I'm organizing the evacuation of kids with cancer from Ukraine to Poland and then to Germany to a hospital.
A Ukrainian software developer living in Los Angeles, Arthur Kulian was one of the people who answered the call to help made by his country's digital minister and its government. He's used his skills gained in the tech industry to create a group called Ukraine Now. It's made up of volunteers organised via messaging apps. They immediately set about raising funds and arranging ways to help evacuate civilians from Ukrainian cities under Russian attack.
I've been building tech startups for the last decade. I'm an engineer myself. I have a degree in systems of artificial intelligence. There's limited capacity to what's left of UN and Red Cross, and there is no one else to help. It's all civilians, evacuating civilians, and we're crowdsourcing and providing the infrastructure to support for these operations. I have the bus, I have the place for them to stay after they cross the border.
It's an international effort. Civilians in Ukraine make requests for help online. These are picked up by the team in the US. They have a list of drivers and have purchased or rented buses using money they've raised. A dispatcher in the US puts the evacuating civilians in contact with those drivers, who arranges pickup. We can't go into too much detail about the methods used in order to protect the organisation from cyber and real-world attack. Salam Al-Din is an experienced aid worker. He's recently returned from evacuating people from Afghanistan. He's helping on the ground. I spoke to him as he journeyed away from the city of Mykolaiv with a bus full of women, children and men over 60, travelling to safety by crossing the border into Moldova.
It's a very risky journey. As you know, we are driving to the border and anything can happen. We heard today bombings when we were in the big city. It's just insane.
Finding a safe route isn't easy, so a number of different volunteers on the ground send information and data about safer roads to the US team. They gather all of this information together to create what they think will be the safest route possible. This information is then relayed to the drivers. They're essentially crowdsourcing safe passage out of a war zone.
For now, we're definitely moving closer to the western part of Ukraine to minimize the danger, but even that is not safe. The bus that we just evacuated 2 days ago went through the route that was bombed just, 10 hours after.
Lots of the passengers on this bus have been sheltering in basements for days, and all have left somebody behind.
Unfortunately, my parents, they stay at home, and I'm traveling alone. We are frightened. We are always afraid about that it can happen, and we are going to be without food. We are going to be bombed.
Eventually, the bus approaches the Moldovan border and safety.
We are at the border, and there is 3 buses outside.
So you're in the border with you've crossed over into Moldova now? As the situation in Ukraine intensifies, travelling like this will become increasingly dangerous. How long do you think that you'll be able to continue making journeys like this one?
I don't know. We're not going to stop before this war is going to stop and people can go back to their homes and be safe. Until that, we need to show our solidarity and do everything we can to save people.
Mark Chislak, BBC News.